The Skoda Citigoᵉ EiV is one of the cheapest pure electric hatchbacks in the UK right now, coming in at some £17,000 despite a very decent official range of 161 miles. Which sounds great to me because we know how good the Skoda Citigoᵉ was as a standard petrol city car, not to mention its near identical siblings, the Volkswagen Up and the Seat Me. They were pretty much the best small cars you could get at the price. But they're not available as petrol cars anymore, they are pure electric only. And the Skoda is notable from its siblings because it gets a lower spec and you can have it without fast charging, which saves you some £2,000 and means that even with a low deposit you can get this car from around about £200 per month, which is really, really good. So we know that it is cheap, but is it just about penny pinching, or is this still a really good small car? The Skoda is available with two charging levels. Go for the base SE car and you get a straightforward AC Type 2 socket that will allow you to charge at up to 7.2 kilowatts, which will give you a full battery from a home wall box in under 6 hours. The standard 3-pin cable that the Skoda comes with will top up the 36.8 kilowatt-hour battery from flat in 16 hours if you plug it into a standard domestic socket. If you do plan on doing the occasional long journey, you may want to consider upgrading to the CCS fast charger for £720, or going for the higher spec SEL car which gets the fast charger as standard. This CCS socket allows you to plug into a DC rapid charge point of the sort commonly found in most UK motorway services. Do this and the Skoda's maximum 40 kilowatt charging speed will deliver 100 miles of additional range in around 60 minutes. Whether you go for the higher spec car or not, you have to pay £170 for a Type 2 cable to allow you to plug into a home wall box or any AC public car charger. All DC rapid charging stations come with the cables tethered to the actual plug point, so you don't need to worry about cables for charging up on the motorway. Now, we know that the Citigoᵉ has an official range of just over 160 miles. When it's winter, like it is now with a bit of rain, and especially if you do a few motorway miles, I think 120 miles is more realistic. In the summer, warmer weather will always see your range go up a bit, and if you don't go onto the motorway so much and spend most of your time around town, I think you could even be pushing 150 miles. Brake regen too is very good, so you have got one pedal driving when you're in town if you want it, and you access that just by pulling the gear lever back into B, and then you get the highest level of brake regen. I wouldn't say it's as strong as it is in the Nissan Leaf, but as long as you're looking way up the road and judging things well, it bleeds in smoothly and is easy to judge, so you can get away without using the brake pedal at all. More than that, you can stick it into standard drive mode, and it's got 3 more levels, and you can toggle right through them from level 1, which is very mild, up to 2 and 3, and that's really nice because it just means you can vary it as you need, and it's very easy to do. More than that, it's just really nice to drive. It's got good, direct, very light steering that is perfect for about town, but still feels absolutely fine out on the motorway or on country roads. It's also got enough performance, so the 0 to 62 of 12.3 seconds does sound pretty slow, but it doesn't feel slow at all, especially not until up to about 40-50 miles an hour. And it will mix it on the motorway perfectly well as well, so top speed of 81 miles an hour doesn't inspire much confidence, but do you know what? It feels stable enough, it gets up to 70 just fine, and it will do the job if you only do a few motorway miles. It doesn't feel like the sort of grown-up, long-distance electric car that, say, you know, the Hyundai Kona or Kia e-Niro does, but given the price, you probably wouldn't expect it to anyway. The only thing that lets this car down is the ride comfort. Now, it's not bad. This car is on 16-inch wheels because it's an SEL, so they get 16s as standard. And you're just aware of the weight of those batteries. You can feel the car bucking a little bit and it gets a bit lumpy over potholes. It never gets really harsh or brittle or kind of crashy, so I don't actually think it's going to bother most people, but it definitely is firmer than the car was when it had a little petrol engine in it, and that might bother some if you're going from petrol to electric. As I said, even with that factored in, this is still just an absolutely brilliant city car. The interior of the Skoda is pretty good. You get a bit of visual interest in the finish on the dash here. The driving position in this left-hand drive car that we've driven at least is pretty good. I find it very easy to get a natural driving position, and I'm a very average 5'7". However, I would say that the steering wheel, while it goes up and down, it doesn't go in and out, so you can't adjust it for reach, which some people might find a bit annoying. Even so, visibility is good, and although you don't get an infotainment touchscreen, you do get this mount up here, which of course you can just stick your phone in, and you have all of your music and nav on there, and there is a USB input right behind it to charge the phone as well. Some people might miss a proper touchscreen, I'm sure. I think that's a pretty good solution, and if it keeps the cost of the car down, then I'm all for it. On top of that, equipment is also pretty good. Even on the base spec Citigoᵉ, you still get a leather steering wheel, digital radio, climate control. Step up to SEL and not only do you get the extra fast charging stuff as standard, but you also get parking sensors, body coloured wing mirrors, 16-inch alloys and heated seats. Whether you want to pay the extra couple of grand for that is really up to what you want to do with the car. Either trim feels like pretty good value, so you can really choose what suits you best. And there you have it. I think it's a really neat, well sorted, fit for purpose interior. Rather impressively, Skoda has managed to keep the space in the electric Citigoᵉ just the same as it was in its petrol predecessor, so this little 5-door hatch will seat 2 average-sized adults fairly easily in the back. The boot is big enough at 250 litres, but it's well worth adding the £75 variable boot floor as it creates a much more useful cable storage area than the standard, if rather tight, cable cubby tucked away below the boot lip. While the Citigoᵉ is clearly nowhere near as practical as bigger, more expensive hatches like the Renault Zoe, Vauxhall Corsa and Peugeot 208, by city car standards it is still one of the more practical options. What we wanted to know is whether the Skoda is just about saving money or if it's a bit more than that, and I can confidently say that it's the latter. Sure, there are some annoying aspects, namely maybe that infotainment and the ride comfort, but it's so easy to forgive that given the sort of unpretentious, cheerful nature of the Skoda. And ultimately, it's a great electric car, a really, really good city car, and just an outstanding entry level to electric motoring. For loads more advice on the Skoda and on every other electric, hybrid and plug-in car, head to DrivingElectric.com. Don't forget to like the video while you're here, subscribe to our channel and check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram.